Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are breaking down the strategy behind one of India's most successful direct-to-consumer brands, Blue Tokai coffee roasters. We're going to look at how they brewed up this incredible brand. And spoiler alert, it wasn't with a ton of traditional advertising. Let's dive into their secret recipe.
Okay, let's dive right in. We're going to start with the results because to really get how they pulled this off, you have to see just what they accomplished. And honestly, the numbers are pretty mind-blowing.
So get this, between 2020 and 2024, Blue Tokai grew at a staggering 53%. And that's not just a one-off year, that's their compound annual growth rate. Let me be clear, that's not just growth. In the business world, that is a straight-up explosion. Now, to put that 53% into real money, look at this. Their revenue just skyrocketed. They went from about 41 crore rupees back in FY20 to over 221 crore in just 4 years. We're talking a more than 5 times increase. It's just wild. So, this brings us to the big question, right? How on earth did a coffee brand pull this off with almost no traditional advertising? Seriously, they did all this without the huge TV campaigns or the giant billboards you'd normally expect. It kind of flips the marketing playbook on its head, and that's exactly the puzzle we're going to solve today. So what is their secret? Well, it turns out it's a recipe with 3 core ingredients. Let's break down exactly how they brewed this incredible brand.
Okay, so their whole strategy really comes down to these 3 things: education, authenticity, and storytelling. But here's the magic part. They're not separate ideas. They're all woven together. They feed off each other and create this, powerful loop that just keeps driving growth.
All right, ingredient number 1 is education, and it's all built around this simple but really powerful idea. Teach first, sell later. So instead of just trying to sell you a bag of coffee, their whole goal was to empower you, the customer. They wanted to turn casual coffee drinkers into, true coffee lovers. And they don't just talk about it, they do it everywhere. You got to remember, in India, specialty coffee was a pretty new thing for a lot of people. So Blue Tokai basically turned every single interaction into a chance to learn. You could scan a QR code on the bag and instantly watch a video from the farm where the beans grew. Or you could walk into a cafe for a free tasting session. Every step of the way, they were teaching. Okay, ingredient number 2. Radical authenticity. And this right here shows you exactly what I mean. On the left, you've got your typical generic coffee bag. Vague origin, no idea when it was roasted. But on the right, Blue Tokai tells you the exact farm, the Thagar Hinkal estate, and that it was roasted just 2 days ago. That's a whole other level. It's not just being open, it's giving you the full story from farm to cup. And this all ties into their core belief, that transparency is what keeps customers coming back. For Blue Tokai, this isn't some marketing buzzword. It's literally their strategy for retention. Think about it. When you show people you have absolutely nothing to hide, you build a kind of trust that no flashy ad campaign could ever buy. And that brings us to the final ingredient that ties it all together: storytelling. This is what creates that real emotional connection. So, instead of ads with catchy songs, they share stories about the actual farmers. They show you what's happening behind the scenes. You're not just buying a product. You're buying into a story and connecting with the real people who made it happen. Okay, so that's the recipe. It's a great one. But how do you actually get it out to millions of people? Well, that's where their omni-channel kitchen comes into play. Let's take a look at the machine that runs the whole operation. So they use what's known as an omni-channel model, which is just a fancy way of saying they're everywhere you are. It's this really slick blend of online and offline. You can order a subscription right from their website. That's their direct-to-consumer, or DTC business. Or you can go have an amazing experience in one of their 135-plus cafes. Or hey, if you need it fast, you can grab it on an app like Swiggy or Blinkit. You might even find it at your office. The point is, all these channels work together perfectly. And we have to talk about their B2B channel, their business-to-business sales. This thing is like their secret weapon. It's a quiet powerhouse. Just look at this. It makes up a huge chunk of their total revenue. We're talking about them supplying coffee to over 2,000 partners, places like offices, fancy hotels, even airlines. This gives them a super stable, high-margin revenue stream that basically bankrolls their growth everywhere else. All right, so we've got the recipe and we've got the kitchen, but what's the end result? Does all this actually work when you scale it up? Let's look at the real-world results. Well, the output has been absolutely massive. They have served over 60 million cups of coffee. Let that sink in. This proves that they're not just some small, niche brand anymore. This is a model that has been proven to work and work at a huge scale. Another key part of their success is how they priced their coffee. They really nailed this sweet spot of being premium but still inclusive. I mean, look at this comparison. They're giving you an experience that's right up there with the global giants like Starbucks, but at a price that's way more accessible, like 25 to 30% lower. That smart move opened up a whole new segment of the market for them. So what do you get when you put all of this together? You get what can only be called a cult-like following. And I mean that in the best way possible. These aren't just customers who buy coffee. No, they are true fans. They're a community of advocates who talk about the brand, who recommend it to their friends. They've become Blue Tokai's most powerful marketing engine, and it's all organic. Okay, so they've built this incredible foundation. The question is, what's brewing next for Blue Tokai? Let's take a quick look at where they're headed. Now, let's be real, the coffee market is super crowded. You've got global giants like Starbucks on one side and a bunch of great local players on the other. But Blue Tokai has built this really strong, defensible moat around their brand. How? It's that unique combo of being hyper-focused on Indian-sourced beans and that smart, value-based pricing. It gives them an identity that's just really, really hard for competitors to copy. And believe me, they are not slowing down. They've recently raised more money, and their focus now is on scaling up even more. They're looking at new, efficient self-serve formats, and get this, they're planning to take their whole model international by building roasteries outside of India. So they're taking the recipe on the road. Which really leaves us with one big, fascinating takeaway. The success of Blue Tokai kind of forces us to ask what marketing even means anymore. By putting all their energy into education, authenticity, and storytelling, instead of just ads, they pose a really interesting question. In a world where we're just drowning in ads, maybe the best marketing isn't marketing at all.